Hi, hi, Victor. Victor, right? Like
Yes.
the Mexican Victor.
Yeah, exactly
Okay.
like that.
Nice meeting with you, even not face to face, but it's still good. Technology is good part of the technology. How are you doing?
Well, fine. I was just waiting eagerly to meet you.
Yeah, maybe you sense that I'm actually a little bit excited, but anyway, I think we'll be okay. But let's just. I just saw your festival, your movie went to many festivals, and then I wondered if you did a lot of interviews. I got a little bit worried. What can I say different or whatever? So it made me. Then I thought, I wish I didn't look at this web page. I wish I knew nothing about him. So it made me a little bit worried. But anyway, actually, other than that, what I can say is. Actually, your documentary hit me hard because I'm married to an American native who is not home at home. So in that sense, I actually do have things to say, but generally I'm a little excited. But anyway, to have a little bit introduction of how I viewed your documentaries, I thought it's both strong technically and storytelling wise. And for me, documentaries are a little bit, has to be good in both, or else sometimes I really can't handle much documentaries. They need to be very strong, in my opinion, maybe because they tackle with the reality. So Revolykus,
yeah.
Revolykus is very strong in that sense, and maybe because it's so strong both technically and storytelling, it touches so many topics in just 12 minutes, and you think as if it was longer, because there's racism, human nature, capitalism, imperialism, and nothing seems to excess. Also, everything seems to be in some balance, and I think that's what makes it very strong. But first, let me ask what the name means. I couldn't find it. So what does Revolykus mean?
It doesn't mean anything. I just invented the name. It's like an invented name for my film. I want to, it's an evocation maybe to revolution, something like that, but it doesn't.
Okay. All right.
But in reality, it doesn't have a meaning, no?
All right. Yeah, but it is good because if we didn't ask you, we wouldn't know. Because I was wondering if it is a Mexican something and I couldn't research that far. And so, okay. So when I watched it first time, I usually try to remember what I feel when I watch something the first time. I still want to be more like ordinary. I think I'm more caught as an ordinary person, even if I know a little bit the first time. So the first time, the flies really made me feel like I am also non-Western. I am not much like my husband in a way, not that much racism-stricken person, but still, I thought I am the fly. I am one of the people who are flies in this world. Unfortunately, this is maybe too harsh criticism, but when there's imperialism, the big countries, the big Western, UK and US and everything, I sometimes feel Middle Eastern peoples are really, life doesn't worth anything. So it made me feel like that. And in the movie, I saw like the dirt, the rust, spider, the rat when Bush speaking and everything, and constantly the flies. I did feel like that. So, but sometimes when I say I was excited about this talk, sometimes it's good you understand something from what you watch. You can talk to your friend about it, but I don't like asking every type of question to the creator because sometimes it is silly to ask some questions. You don't need everything be explained to you because you can then be disrespecting the audience. So let me say what I felt about flies. We're not equal. Maybe this is us. So maybe you can just say whatever.
No. For me, that's great. I think that's the meaning of the Q&A. The film is already made, and I wanted to show something there. And that's it, no? But normally when you are in the Q&A, it's a great opportunity to know what is beneath the film. No? That's the idea. So you can see things that maybe the people didn't saw, or the intention of the artist, or a lot of things. When you are talking about these insects, there is, since this 9/11 attack of the Twin Towers, it started a campaign against Muslim people. And you can see it everywhere. It was like in the news, the Muslims had made this, and terrorists, and it was this linkage between religion and terrorism. And it was said during all these years, it has been almost 20 years, that this concept of joining the religion with terrorism. And in this selling of this concept, there is also like a concept that was used by the German Nazis, and that was to take the humanity of other people. So if you want to attack other race or other people that doesn't belong to your own culture, what you do is you put them in an inferior level, like non-humans. So in this case, I use the insects, the rats, when Bush is speaking, because that's when the war in Iraq started. That's the speech that you hear is the speech that George Bush did to start with the war. And it's, for me, it's like the start of this revenge against the insects. And the idea of that was to exterminate them, to exterminate the terrorists. No? But that's the problem that a lot of Muslim people is suffering right now in Europe and in the USA, no? Because of this mismatch of concepts.
Yes, actually, it's just imperialism. And my next question, and what I was going to say next, is a little bit on this topic. For example, during the Syrian war, something happened with the one group. They called themselves White Helmets. They were doing fake videos as if they're rescuing kids, and they even Oscars even were given to them. And I was scared. So scared. I was more scared than angry, because during that time, big names, big organizations like Global Citizen and all this mass media, they all talked about white helmets in a good way, as if they never heard that there was also info saying that they are fake. And so I learned that you were actually involved in festival making in Ecuador and Mexico and Germany, I think. And so we always believe festivals are a place where we can undo these wrongs. Like we can check, fact checked for reality, because we get a bias by mass media. And in everything like Oscars and Netflix and everything, all this white supremacy and Western world, they really distort images of other countries. And White Helmet getting an Oscar was really very short. A few years ago, this happened. So scary. So do you think the festivals, in your experience as someone who made festivals, how much resistance are we putting? Are we making a change? And how are things going on the festival versus the mainstream and all these fake things?
Yeah, normally serious festivals, of course, they take care of the material that they are showing and the interpretation that you can make of every film, no? But also filmmakers, film festivals, there are so many that I'm sure that they are also fake news film festivals. I mean, this concept of fake news is so strongly sold through social media that it has permeated every aspect of life. I mean, you can even see this fake news in newspapers, in the TV. So they replicate what happens in the internet is being replicated in the normal media. And of course, I think there there could be, because every festival is an independent head, to put it in a way. I mean, every festival has his own programmers, his own mentality, his own concept of filmmaking. So I'm sure that even these fake news can permeate into these festivals, no?
Yeah,
but
when we don't know,
yeah.
When we don't know, we can also accept we can't know everything. So
yeah, we have to be right now. That's the problem. We have to be very skeptical of everything that is being input to us. And in my film, I reflect a little bit about this when I'm talking how the social media has helped to make this right-wing movement very strong. And yeah, the people is angry and they want revenge, and the problem is that they believe everything that they see in internet. And it's very important to start like a reflection process. Every information that you see, you have to be a skeptic.
Yeah, actually, because my husband is a Native American, he's Tlingit. By the way, I have to say Native American because we also don't even know all the names of these. But there is an Apache, tribes, Apache helicopter because it sounds cool. But I can't say my husband's tribe name first, because nobody knows. Although he's from one of the tribes that make totem poles, and it's only 3-4 tribes, so few. But Hollywood movies, they put totem poles there wrongly in front of teepee, and the names were never mentioned. So it's all a big mess, and sometimes we have to use some words, although they're still derogatory, but we still have to use it because nobody understands where he's from and stuff. But I mean, it is really, these topics of the racism and white supremacy is very, very tough. And I even didn't know how horrible it is until I went and lived in US for like 6 years. And I never ever imagined it to be that bad. But we only in the mass media, we only see the bright sides of these Western countries. We only see their NASA, the Mars explorations, or science, or Oscars, and their stars. And despite all the war going on and everything, everybody in my country, most people are still illusioned that, for example, America is a very good country to live. Although healthcare and some documentaries were made. So that's why your documentary is very important, because this is a subject. These are some subjects we have to very constantly be talked. We have to be reminded all the time, because we're still getting this mass media illusions and everything going on like that. We're immersed in this dominant culture's opinions. So that's why I really liked your, thanks again, and to all whoever is involved. Now maybe I can say about the documentary, because as I said, for me, I'm a scientist, by the way. I am a biologist who is working in wildlife biology. Sometimes when we see biology, when we see documentaries, for example, because nature conservation is lately a big topic. Everybody wants to protect nature. I understand, I respect, and I even really am excited. But sometimes we keep getting some documentaries, they're like lacking information, misinformation, and it's generally like just a visual lecture. There's really no power in a cinematography way. And I also sometimes wonder if it's going to be done bad way, any documentary, it doesn't have to be made, because there's already projects, like we do science projects, social projects, there are things going on. But in the cinema, it seems like the weakest link is documentary, where the cinematography sometimes so lags behind. Like anybody talking about that, I don't know, a different group of people, wherever it is, a documentary. So I really wonder, what is your opinion on this little bit, maybe? Like, do you also feel there is like documentary genre needs more blood, like Revolykus?
Well, in my case, I don't work very conventionally. my film is also like a poetry. I made it like a poetry because, of course, all thematic has been already made in documentaries, no? And that's why I'm very distant to commercial documentary making, no? So I'm not like that's not my thing. But yeah, that's true. A lot of people, they make something and they don't really research. In my case, for example, in my film, my film took 5 years to be finished. It was a lot of work to animate the house, and I never imagined how long it will take the project. But also that allowed me to investigate a lot. That's how I find all this sound material. I read tests about the tensions in the society that are being developed now. And even though I don't say nothing about that, it helps me to take up a good perspective or perspective of the thematic. You know, if you have the information, then you can point exactly the thematic where you want it to be. And yeah, a lot of commercial documentaries, of course, they want to produce it fast. And yeah, maybe they investigate, but it maybe is a little bit superficial, no? But still, there are, yeah, it's like in life, no? There are the bad seeds and the good seeds. So yes, I think there are also very nice.
I was trying to say that because in your genre, documentary, for me is like Revolykus. I understand when you say poetry because I'm also a writer. I write poetry too. And in the beginning, I said this storytelling and narration, whatever. I didn't know. I sometimes don't know because I'm not from cinema how to say, but I told you that it is both good technically and narration because it is so effective, the words, and I can understand all those words that is. I'm also in the translation team, and I already remember when I'm looking at it, I liked it a lot. All this words you said, like, I don't know, for example, that boots can change to pearls when you're approaching ship, and these are not so easy sentences to make. There's work behind it, and I really felt it, and that's why I said in 12 minutes. But I was gonna ask how long it took. You already said, and I really imagined it's a lot of work. Is it called stop motion, or stop? What method?
Yeah, it's called stop motion. It's when you move one piece and then you took a picture and then move and picture. So it was a mix of stop motion. I painted directly in the walls also.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Well, that's called animation. I don't know how it's called because that's not movement of objects. It's painting directly and then taking picture for every paint. And some digital effects like the last scene where you can see this Medusa swimming in the sky.
I really like that scene a lot. I was nearly gonna wonder if you have any more animated films like that one, because it was so suiting to me. I really liked it. I even thought it's the poetry, the sense of poetry came so much in that scene because it was night, and as if there's somebody living in a place where maybe there are nobody like him or her. Maybe you in Germany, the way you are talking about how people stare at you, and there's this big Medusa flying in the sky. It was a very powerful scene. It's like a summing it up everything you said, and it was very nice. But
for me it was more like a menace that is coming, no? Because I'm really worried, like a menace, like a danger that is coming, because Medusas, they can be very dangerous, no? They are beautiful, but they are dangerous.
They can be.
And I don't know, after with all that I investigated and everything, these kind of periods of times, they are very prone for wars, for conflicts between countries or inside of countries, and all the ingredients are there. It doesn't mean that a war is going to start, but if you analyze all the things that are happening in the world, and then you add the pandemic, that was one of the requirements for a war, then the future doesn't look quite bright, no? And that's why I was seeing like a reflection is like, what is coming to us?
There's a lot of symbolism in it. As I said, I am a little excited, and for me, sometimes when I like some movie a lot, but not necessarily attached to a meaning, but more symbolic, then I sometimes don't like don't like talking too much, and plus it's still living in me. Revolykus is like that. Even just, it's so artistically, it's so beautiful, it's so strong, and plus it deals with very heavy topics, but still it doesn't make you feel helpless. It does want you to do something, or at least listen. And also that's where I'm gonna say next, like the comfort zone. It's so nice that it hits our comfort zone. I mean, shouldn't be anybody who watches this and, yeah, the world is unjust. The world is not really a great place to be. And, what can we do as an artist or a scientist? So it was really a moving thing for me. And yes, even the words and plus the visuals are like poetry. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
And in my case, I don't like to give all the information. I like that the people that watch the film can make their own interpretation. This freedom, that's something that cinema allows a lot, because you have a lot of elements that you can play with. For example, I play with the sound. The sound is like a layer that like it is in its own layer, no? And it's parallel to the images, and the images are also parallel to the narration, and they meet together. Sometimes it's like making this, no, joining in certain points, in different points. And with this, I think it allows the people to watch the film and make their own interpretation and have their own freedom and to think, no? Mm-hmm. About the like the experience that allows you the filmmaking.
Yeah, actually, for me, because I am not from cinema, but I am doing this talk because we are different people. For me, what you talk about, the topics, was something I'm very involved in as a writer. But because I don't know so much about how something is done, like I know a little bit stop motion, but just know little general info. I know it takes a lot of time, so I really respected your work. But
in my case, you know what was the problem? That to the animation of the house, I never imagined how big was the project, because every time I made like 10 seconds animation, it was like 2 months work, because I'm living in the house. Is this house where I am? That means that if I wanted to work in one room, I had to take out my bed, my closet, everything. I have to move everything and then work and animate in this room, and then put everything inside, and then clean. And then when I have a lot of debris, I have to take all these debris. It was like 1-2 tons of debris, and I just have to take them out. Okay. So I was very naive when I started the project, but when I was in the middle, I couldn't go back. So that's why it took so long.
Yeah, but it is like a biography in a sense, isn't it? In some ways, because it's your house. It's you are Mexican. You are talking about my body.
My experience.
Yeah, like you say, my body in ruining the tourist holiday. Like it's you. It's your experience. Or
no, it's not me. When I'm talking about us, I'm thinking about Aylan, no? Or Ilan. What was it? Oh, I forgot the name right now. This little kid that died in the beach.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And her body was quite famous. And
his name, but I know, small kid. Yeah, okay.
And there are a lot of images where you can see the bodies lying. All these bodies that were thrown out in the beach, and the people and the tourists are lying there. Taking the sun, and with the bodies there, it's like.
Yeah, you said it's interesting what the audience sees. I got it as if it's you on because you say you're Mexican, and I know how Mexicans are treated in the US as immigrants and all this border. So I thought it can be also your experience of racism.
The thing is my experience, because the people, when they saw me, I'm living in Germany, and when they saw me, they think I'm Turkish, or I'm Syrian, or I look also like an Arab.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why they treat me like an Arab, even though they don't know what I am. And they are afraid of me, they hate me because of that. And it's quite absurd, because that's when you realize how stupid can racism be. because you hate somebody only because of how they look, and not really because I'm sure I could say I'm Mexican, and they will say here in Germany, maybe in the USA I cannot go away so easily, but here in Germany, if you say Mexican,
yes,
yeah, everybody is going to say party, tequila, and salsa. No, I don't know. But the thing is that these people, when they saw me, they saw these refugees killing their holidays, and that's what I'm also talking about, how the things that fall into the bottom, like coffee scraps, it's like the bodies of the people.
That part really affected me, because my husband, I only realized when I went to States with him, because in Turkey we might also have racism, whatever, but generally foreigners are loved so much. We like serving the foreigners. We're curious about foreigners, and I mean, surely I'm talking about general, but it's still a little bit like that in my opinion. So when I went to States, I realized my husband's face immediately. If there is a racist across us, if we're being served in a restaurant, or if we're asking someplace, if they're in a critical office, gonna get our work done, his face.
And he's immediately, I bet that he's immediately tagged as Mexican.
Yes, mostly yes, because
he's American, but because
thing.
He looks like a Mexican, he's a Mexican. No, it's immediately like that.
In the States, yes, Mexican, or stereotypes. But the thing is, he's in a worse position. He is in his own land. For example, one time, something very short, maybe I can tell you, in Alaska, where he's from, we are there in their Tlingit, their own language course. The teacher took the class to the market and said that we will not talk in English at all, because they're trying to learn their language. But when we started that day, I also was with them. I was shocked, sad, and angry when I saw the teacher prepared a brochure, little leaflet, to explain other people in the market why they are not going to be talking in English. It is their land. It's their language in their land, and he felt the need to explain. I was like, what is this? This is so shockingly sad. So sad. It's so humanity ashamed. I'm ashamed of my humanity when such things happen. And when there's these words you said, tourist bodies blocking tourists holidays. These are real. These happen. But I only know that to a degree. I also know that some people act like they do because of how they're fed. Their perception from school on. I went to do some substitute teaching in America. I realized they start from there too, that fear or misinformation about Native Americans and etc. So we shouldn't also quickly blame it. That's why it is a good thing art is there, and people like you who can use this craft strongly. So it's not like trying to explain, but just a little bit like shock in a good way, or
to feel a little bit how you feel.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be explained.
Yes,
I mean, Q&A is a perfect place to explain things, but still the film has his own life, in parallel.
Film shouldn't.
And that's the idea.
Yeah, that's what I said, that I was a little worried because what am I gonna say and etc. Because it's one of the movies that has so much symbolism, and it unfurls every time I watch. Because now, for example, I have my notes, but probably we'll have to stop. But I took down all the nice parts of the script, and it is good. And I'll try to remember when I feel bad, because what we just talked, this is my life, it goes on. When I'm gonna go to States next, or when my husband goes to States alone, I'm always scared on the borders, because they will think he's Mexican. I'm joking, because he is not white. When he goes alone, I'm always a little worried. Very strange, his country, but I'm worried. So my life already is in this thing, and I wish I will hopefully in the future. I check some of your movies are already on Vimeo, and hopefully in the future Revolykus will be free on Vimeo, so I can have more people watch it. And
normally after 2 years I put all my videos in Vimeo, because normally the festivals, they want to have the like the screening exclusivity in the screenings, but after the festival tour is over, then I open my films. I'll look for that, and I'll also try to watch also your other movies. I just very recently realized it, so I couldn't really watch them, but I will, because I'm really moved by your work, and I look forward to seeing more of your work. Thanks so much, and thanks so much for sending your movie to our festival. No, I'm very happy that it can be screened over there, and I'm super happy.
Okay. Oh, it's good to hear that. It was really nice meeting you. And if there's anything else that you'd like to say, you can, if there's something, I don't know.
Well, just to thank you, and also to thank that the people had time, even though we are in the middle of this pandemic, and maybe we are going to be at home again, that there's still like an escape, no? And culture is a great escape for these times.
Yes, you're right. Art is really a good thing for healing. All right. Have a nice time in these difficult times. Hopefully everything will be better for all of us soon. And really, it was great meeting you. Bye, Victor.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.